What's up, you guys? Welcome to my stream. I'm going to go ahead and knock out this quick disclaimer. I'm not a medical professional. Nothing I say is intended as health advice. Any major changes made to your diet or any other aspect of your lifestyle is something you should check with a medical professional with before enacting in your own life. I'm also not a financial advisor. Nothing I say is a recommendation for an investment, and I'm a law-abiding citizen. Nothing I say is a mission of guilt. Thank you for joining my stream, you guys. Sorry for the last couple streams with the no show on my behalf. I didn't make it. And looks like Instagram is not working as usual. So we won't have any people from Instagram here today. That being said, looks like we're still waiting for some people to show up. You guys, I turned on subscriber only mode for this chat. All you got to do is press subscribe. It's free. It will take 5 minutes for your messages to turn on, just in a effort to slow down the people who are just casually scrolling through and wanted to talk to some smack on somebody. Welcome, Ellen. Happy to see that you made it to a live stream. Anna, thank you. Guten Abend. Good to see you. I didn't have a ton of stuff planned for today. I have a little story that I'll tell probably once we start getting some stuff going on here. Looks like we are actually getting some people here. We got 7. Cannonball, welcome. Very happy to see you made it to this one. Noi, good to see you. You guys, sorry I've been absent. I wanted to give it a little time to reset the whatever was going on with the algorithm, but looks like, yeah, that amount of time has passed, so we'll see if they give us any love today. We're at like kind of a weird hour. It's not our usual time, but we'll see what happens. I actually had a very interesting and beautiful experience recently. Oh, looks like we got it. There it is. And oh, Sammy is demanding to be part of this show. So Sam, come on, go ahead and knock over my whole setup and do everything that you're trying to do right now. Come on. Let's do that. All right, it's the Sammy show. Yep. Let's all try to climb on one chair. Yay! Sorry, guys. I'm obviously still not drinking coffee, so I'm a little bit slow motion. But all right, you go away. And Code Black, welcome. We're just getting started. We haven't even done much yet today. Yeah, we're just we're breaking back in the stream. All right, that's enough from you, Sam. Go away. Thank you. So yeah, did anyone happen to notice? So normally it's unrelated, but today we are actually blessed with a related cover photo for the stream. So if you refer to the cover photo for the stream, you'll notice a view with a little circle of stones and a stick of incense. So I was doing my daily walk the other day. I'll just get right into the thing that not only is inspiring today's stream, but also has inspired me for the last several days now. But anyways, I went to go for my walk, and there was this little hill with a bench on it. It's a nice view that I wanted to go check out. I've walked past it a few times, and I never actually went up there. So I went up there, And I took a stick of incense, and I had initially planned on like just lighting the incense and meditating for a minute, but it was windy and I was having trouble lighting the incense, so I thought about it and I was like, you know what, I'm gonna make a little offering instead. So I built my little circle of stones up there on the thing, and I stuck the incense in there, and you know, I said a little prayer, a little offering for the earth, and a little blessing for whoever ended up lighting the stick of incense someday when they find it up there, right? And I didn't even realize it was actually the solstice. Welcome, Matthew and Magic, and thank you for the reminder, Magic. But I didn't find out till afterwards that this was all happening on the solstice. I was actually, it was not the yesterday, but the last stream that I didn't show up for the other day when I lost my phone. That was when this all happened. So anyways, as I stood up from making this little circle of rocks and putting my incense in there, I got kind of like lightheaded, you know, like you do sometimes from standing up too quick, I guess, or whatever. But I decided to roll with it. I was like, you know, so I like felt the world warble for a second, and I was like, you know what, I'm just gonna go roll with it. So I just started, you know, like power breathing, right? And I'm like looking out over the view that is I've put as the window for the live today, and I'm power breathing, and I just, you know, I don't know how to explain. Something happened. I was like, you know, I started having a really like intense, I don't know, a surge of something, right, was coming over me, right? And so I closed my eyes, and I'm just like kind of taking it all in, right? And then, you know, I'm doing this, I'm like this, and when I open my eyes, there's a ladybug crawling on my hand, right? And I'm like, oh my God, like, so like at this moment, I'm like feeling like I'm being answered, right? And so I'm watching this ladybug. It crawls around for a minute, and it goes to tip my finger, and it flies away, and I'm just like, you know, at this point, I'm like, yes, like, this is so beautiful. And I was shirtless, and I felt something like on my stomach. It was just like I didn't realize that I didn't really feel anything. I just had like an itch. So I reached down to itch my stomach, and I felt something, and I realized it was another little ladybug, right? And so but I like kind of like, you know, kind of poked it when I went to scratch my stomach. So I was like afraid I hurt it because it was like, it looked dead. You know what I mean? Like it was all up in its shell. And there was like a little bit of like yellow juice next to it, right? And I'm going, oh no, did I kill the ladybug? And I'm like, I literally was like, no. And I'm like sitting there, and I'm like willing it back to life, right? And then a third ladybug comes and lands on my hand. And then it goes and it crawls over to its friend, and it kind of does this little thing with its antennas. And then the other one like pops back out and comes back to life. And then they both like start crawling around. They go to the tip of my fingers. They both fly away. And I'm just like going like, I'm like blown away, right? So then I sit down, and I start doing some chanting, you know. You know, doing some chanting, right? And I'm just whatever, like, I don't know. I'm having all the sensations. I'm just in total bliss. And when I opened my eyes, there was yet another ladybug sitting on my hand. And I just kind of like checked it out for a minute before it flew away. And so, yeah, after that, I was like pretty, you know, just, yeah, ended up going for this whole crazy, not crazy, but like it's so long, you know, I'll probably post some stuff on Sam's page later, but we went for a barefooted run with Sam down the riverside, and we were just having a cool day. And then I came back and somehow I lost my phone. I didn't realize that I lost my phone until like the day after that, though, because I just wasn't really into the phone thing. Or no, I lost the phone the same day because I was going to stream. But I didn't find it for like 2 days anyway. So I ended up finding the phone a couple days later. But anyways, that evening, I was still feeling so good from that meditation earlier that I was kind of like, I don't know, I was doing some Kundalini stuff and I was just kind of like making up some new stuff. And I came up with this like new like breathing technique where I was like, basically, you know, like I take this really like deep breath. You know, from the stomach. And then just kind of and like, I don't know, it was just working so good for me that I was just I don't know, I was really like raising Kundalini like fast, and I started getting some really good like stuff cracking out of my back, out of my neck, like I just did right now. And yeah, it was, I don't know, it was just a cool couple days. So sorry I've been like detached or whatever. And the other cool thing was I don't know, it's whatever. Oh, thank you so much for the Christmas chickens for Sammy. Sammy, you scored a chicken, my friend. Anyways, I'm going back to the chat. Matthew McCann, happy solstice magic. Matthew McCann says, been away for a while. Have you recorded the Om chants? I haven't done the Om chants yet, but we will one day do it. It's just, honestly, it's a lot of pressure, you know what I mean? Like, and yeah, I don't know, it's pretty personal, to be honest, but I'm warming up to it. Code Black says, I'd love to meditate, but I don't have a comfortable place to do it. Well, you know, it is kind of, you know, there's many different types of meditation. And, you know, the best way to meditate is, well, not the best way, but I'm saying there's many different ways to do it. You know, the beauty of meditation is that you don't need that much of a space to do it. You can pretty much just sit on a pillow and close your eyes, and a good way to start meditating, if you don't really know or whatever, is before trying to like silence your mind and shut everything off. And you know, this is actually kind of like, those simple concepts are actually a little bit more of an advanced kind of meditation. But a good way to start off meditation is to do something that you already know, and that's to visualize. So just, you know, instead of trying to like, you know, skip to the, you know, the big goal of slaying your ego and shutting down everything and retracting your senses and all that, you can just kind of start off with like, you know, get into a cross-legged position. Doesn't have to be nothing fancy. You know, try to get your back straight. And if that's hard for you, that in itself, it's a good place to start too, of just getting yourself flexibility up so that that's a comfortable thing. And then just go for a journey in your mind. It could be any kind of a thing. You could go for a walk, you could make up a new place, maybe you go flying somewhere. You could even have like an experience. You could have a relationship, or just go on a date. You know what I'm saying? Like, you can do, you know, just quiet yourself, kind of let everything go, and, you know, fucking go climb a mountain or something. But just do it in your mind. And it's kind of like over time, like getting, you know, you'll kind of, you know, start learning to take a little bit more command. Maybe things will become more vivid. You can add more detail, and then one day you'll just be doing it, and you can just say, okay, I'm gonna wipe the board clean now, and then just like sit, you know, in the void. You know, like there's like you know when you close your eyes, you'll notice there's like different types of like settings in there. You know, like sometimes it's just blackness, it's just emptiness. But sometimes it's like but as you develop, you'll realize eventually you realize it's not actually empty even when it's black. There's like some kind of energy in there. And just as you go start, you know, I don't know, there's just some different stuff. Anyways, let me go back to the chat. But I don't think that, you know, the interesting thing about meditation is it's a liberating thing because, you know, now if you maybe, you know, another way to do it is like walking meditation. Like meditation doesn't necessarily mean that you got to have your eyes closed. You know, with meditation, what it really is to me is it's 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 completely and totally immersing yourself into something, a total, you know, you become completely focused on something, even if that something is nothing. You know what I'm saying? Like you can become completely focused on nothing, you know, and that's kind of where you start learning to like retract senses and things like that. But you can also do it with your eyes open. You could do it with a flame. You could, a really good way to do it is to do it with the planet or something that contains a huge consciousness. Like the earth itself is a god. It has a massive consciousness. Like it's so alive, and it has so much wisdom, and you can literally just focus on the earth, any aspect of it. That's a really good. Or the moon, the sun, you know, these big celestial bodies are the real, are where the consciousness is, where, you know, they have massive consciousness, more than us, much more than us, you know, to the point that we are avatars of these celestial bodies. And so you know, that's a great thing to focus on, to use as a tool for meditation. But you know, subtle elements, water, um, the wind, air, you know, close your eyes. Even if you maybe, you know, like I'm indoors, I got a fan on low, I can barely feel the air stirring around me, but I could like sit here and meditate on that indefinitely. You know what I'm saying? And just, I've done a meditation before when I was in the ocean, just floating for 6 hours or something like that, just letting the current take me, wash me out. Eventually it brings you back in. Like you learn so much more about the earth. There's like there's hundreds of ways to meditate. um but yeah, you can pretty much do it anywhere. You know, of course silence helps, you know, and it's a practice in itself to learn to detach from what you're hearing. So that's, you know, you can still do it even if you don't have silence, but that definitely is more advanced, I guess. Um, anyways, Magic says, oh, pure alignment, haha, libation acknowledged. Yes, exactly. I mean, it's a thing. That's the thing. So I also was planning on thinking about talking about, because of like what happened, I thought it was kind of an interesting thing. You know, there was also a question on Instagram, which somebody had asked me recently. That was a really well asked, a really well stated question, or a really a good question. And I was thinking of going into that because it was kind of related as well. But let me go ahead and catch up with the chat, and maybe I'll get to that in a moment. Welcome, Amber. Code Black says, glad you had a good time meditating. You're a legend. Thank you, Code Black. Much appreciated. Got some chickens for Sammy Boy. Noise says, are there ups and downs in your spiritual pursuits, or how do you overcome it? Of course, it's so much ups and downs. Overcoming it is really, you know, it's there's a reason why I posted the oh my gosh, thank you so much, Ellen. Appreciate you. That was really nice of you. but ups and downs. So overcoming the ups and downs in spiritual. So, okay. So the thing that I I have the quote from Tao Te Ching that I have as the, thing on the main chat on the Telegram. I should know it by heart. I'll see if I can say it, but it's, in the pursuit of knowledge, every day something is gained. But in the pursuit of Tao, every day something is dropped. Less and less done is done until all is achieved, or something like that. Anyways, the moral of the story is that, yes, there's definitely ups and downs, but as we seek that, place, at the center of it all, where we are bliss and love, and that we are just, pure emotions, it always comes down to letting go. There's nothing that we're missing. We have everything that we need right here inside of us. You know what I'm saying? You have it in your heart, you have it in your head, you have it in your body. You know what I mean? Like, there's energy coursing through you. Like, if you just quiet yourself for a moment and you breathe, just literally make sure your lungs are totally empty. And then breathe from your stomach, make sure that your lungs become totally full, feel them like pressure, feel that's God inside you. You know what I'm saying? You couldn't last a moment without it, And when you're feeling this breath inside you, feel the relation that it has to your spine. You're breathing in this air, and every time you do it, you can feel the energy infusing up your spine. You just have to train yourself to feel this inside you. And when eventually you'll realize there's no shortage of it. It's literally infinite. There's just energy coursing through everything around us, like this whole, we're sitting on top of this mat. We're literally completely inside this huge electromagnetic field of the earth. That's this whole interplay between the earth and the sun, and it's raging, and we're totally inside of it. There's fucking energy everywhere, all you want. Don't don't worry, you're not being greedy. You can have as much as you like, but you have to be conscious of it. You know what I mean? It's not like beating its head to get inside of you. You're inside of it. You know what I'm saying? You have to open yourself up to it. You have to be aware of it, and everything is interconnected. When you think about spiritual pursuits, you can literally say it's all pursuits. You know what I'm saying? It's spirituality is being a conduit. It's opening yourself up. It's stop being about me. It's stop identifying as ego. You know what I'm saying? It's realizing the voice in your head and everything around you, and your things and your possessions and your family and your dog, and your job and your money and all the shit, the voice in your head. None of that's you. You know what I'm saying? You're just literally chilling right now. The real you is watching all this happen around you. Not even through your eyes. It's watching from above. You know what I'm saying? It has an aerial view. That's why when someone starts becoming really spiritually advanced, people start being like, hey, they're a prophet. They see the future and all. And they're like, no, they're not seeing the fucking future. They just zoomed out. They're taking a bird's eye view of everything because they realize who they are. They realize that they're not this body that sees only through these eyes. They realize that they are their higher selves, and that this is one of the avatars that they control in this fucking grand game that we play. You know what I'm saying? That we are very privileged to be able to play, and that no doubt we already passed some test somewhere along the way to even be elevated enough, to be blessed enough to be allowed to play this fucking game that we're playing right now. You know? And so of course there's going to be ups and downs, but you know what I'm saying? If we're identifying with things that have ups and downs, you know what I'm saying? Or anything that is what most people consider self. But if you detach from all that, there's not really is the ups and downs, because you're above it all. You know what I'm saying? Not in like some kind of like, oh, I'm so above everything way, but in the sense that you can see. You know, you're just looking, you're taking a bird's eye view of everything. You know, and then there's no more ups and downs, because you're just watching that it's one of your avatars is having a lesson. You know what I'm saying? It seems like an up and down from the ground level, but you know what I'm saying, from the bird's eye view, you know what I'm saying, it's just like everything is one. I don't know. Sorry, I got off track there. But anyways, yeah. Thank you so much, Noi. But don't let anything, like when something gets you down, you just like, honestly, it comes down to unconditional love is what everything comes down to, is, you know, cliche as that is, whatever. But we can literally boil everything down to unconditional love when it comes to spiritual pursuits. And what is the most purest form of unconditional love? Well, it's affectionate detachment. You know what I'm saying? It's, I love you so much, I don't care, because I'm going to love you anyways. Nothing can change for me. I'm a constant. My love is a constant. The way I feel for everything is a constant. So how can it have an up and down? Right? Not to say that I haven't felt exactly what you're asking, like that I've felt spiritually depleted. Especially after a big high, you can have a big peak, and then, you know, eventually you come back down and you're like, fuck, like, was that it? Was that the highest? And no, it's not. The next peak is 10,000 times higher, and the one after that is 10,000 times higher than the last one. You know, but it's gonna look like up in both directions every time you hit that dip as you come down, going for the next peak. Now, does that mean that you should be really focused on the next peak? No. Being focused on the next peak is going to make it seem farther away. It's going to make it seem like it's never going to come. It's going to make it seem unobtainable. You got to be focused on that which is directly around you. You need to be completely and totally immersed into the moment. You know, and don't be seeking the peaks at all, because the Tao is like water, right? It gathers in the low places. You know, it's like when I was just telling you, like, I came up with this new breathing technique. It's not when I'm like packing my lungs with air and holding it all inside that my energy raises. It's when I let it out, when that air comes out, that's when the energy comes up the spine and rages into the skull. In the same token, you know what I'm saying? Like, you will hit these peaks and you feel like you're on top of the world, and you're just, you know what I'm saying? You got it all. You feel so spiritually complete. But you know what I'm saying? You are having the experience, but you're not going to comprehend the experience in totality in that moment. You're going to comprehend that experience when you descend back down into the valleys. If you just go from peak to peak to peak, you've lost touch with gravity. You're gonna, you know what I'm saying? You've officially become ungrounded at that point. You know what I'm saying? The natural way is everything in waves. You know what I'm saying? Don't look at yourself as oh, I came from this peak, I'm in a valley. You know, look at yourself as, oh, I went to a peak, but I'm coming back to source, because it's as above, so below. You know what I'm saying? Like, we have God's above, but yet we're standing. Our entire life is right here with the one that's closest to us. You know what I'm saying? Like, there's no, we don't have to yearn for either. We walk the center path because we have unconditional love. We don't love based upon the circumstances. We're grateful for everything that didn't happen, because we know that, you know, we're being shown a mercy no matter what. No matter how good it is, or no matter how bad it is, it can always be worse. And so we're always grateful for everything, even the lowest of the lowest of the low points. Because the moment that we're not grateful, we will be taught the lesson that it can always be worse. So we're always grateful. We don't seek the highs all the time, because the more we seek them, the harder the trip is. If we just, you know, it's the Taoist, back to the Tao. The journey of 1,000 miles begins beneath one's feet. You know, you could walk 1,000 miles, but you're going to take a first step. You know? Are you going to walk 500 miles and then think about how long that was and that you're only halfway? Or are you just going to take another step until you're at 5,001? You know? And that's, the spiritual journey is like that. You know? If every day we drop something, every day we remove something from our life, every day, from our personality, just less. We get something more done so that there's less for us to do. We work until we're done. We seek a finish. We don't chase the carrot. You know what I'm saying? There's always more. There's always more. We can always go for more. No matter how much. You can have billions of dollars and cruise ships. You could have fucking warheads. Whatever fucking weird shit that the people that want more are fucking hoarding. You can always get more. It doesn't... It's whatever. Until it's all gone. And then we're fucked. And what's the point of that anyways? Is that what we're after? We want it all? It's an obtainable goal to get down to the minimum. To get to the center of everything is, you know what I'm saying? There's a finite amount of whatever that you're getting rid of. But to anyone out there that was willing to actually try, you know what I'm saying? It makes all the sense in the world. There's always more. It's an unobtainable goal to get it all. Well, there's a finite amount of everything, and if you seek less, you will eventually get there, right? So this is a logically undebatable thing. But yet, nobody can do this. And everybody will fucking try to do this. Sorry, I don't mean to be, I'm just getting, you know what I'm saying, amped up. But everybody will keep trying for more. Everybody will. And knowing that they never, ever fucking can get it all. Never. But yet, this is obtainable. Dropping something every day is obtainable. until you get down to nothing. No work left to do. You know what I'm saying? Nothing else to worry about. And no one will even fucking try. And if they do try, they will find that it's incredibly difficult. But the other thing they will find is that it's incredibly rewarding, and it leads to a treasure that is completely unreplicable and can't be purchased. And that is liberation, personal liberation, freedom, you know, a release from all pain. But yet almost nobody will ever even try, and of the people that try, most will fail. And they would all rather do this, the impossible that keeps them enslaved totally and completely for all times. Everybody will choose the impossible in slavery. 1% at the most will choose the fully and totally obtainable. And that's all I have to say about that. Anyways, sorry, I got all riled up. That wasn't. I didn't mean to be a lecture. I love you guys. I felt like I was lecturing though. Yeah, we'll take a break to do some ohms. You know, by Matthew's request. Sorry, he's gonna lick my mouth. All right, we only get one ohm right now because Sam's trying to get me. All right, 1 second. Ellen, thank you again. Let's see. HDMTP. Hey, thank you, by the way, HDMTP. I think that you've been oh, this is actually a good one. Okay, he said, I've been reading the book I saw in one of your videos, Merging with Shiva, and the advices in there and your spiritual revelations are strikingly similar. Yeah, you know, I've actually found it to be really good. I actually have a, you may be farther in it than I am at this point. I was just, let's see. Actually have it right here. I'm only 90 pages, I'm 90 pages in. But it is amazing, honestly. And a lot of things I have had, like the guy had the same, he talks about the experience of like merging into the earth and all that, which was like a big one. But yeah, and several of them have been really similar to, several things that he's talked about has been really similar to my experiences. But this is actually the book that has done the most to make me realize that there is going to be more. Because like one of the things that I found most interesting in that book is you know, he says that he has remembered all of his past lives. And that's something that, to me, is essentially like saying that you can achieve godhood while still alive in this body, and it doesn't necessarily, you don't have to pass on. Now, I'm not personally, there yet, but it's like yeah, it's it's pretty interesting. But you'll actually find, if you start reading stuff from um different enlightened people, most everyone almost comes to pretty much all the same conclusions, which is the really interesting part. And I think that that's also like a central thing to it, is that there really is a universal consciousness, um you know and yeah, anyways, it's a really good book. I do actually recommend it. It's helped me navigate some pretty weird stuff, like, for example, the concepts of like the spiritual ego, um and yeah, I would recommend it. Let's see. Glasgow said, "Love you and the work you do." Thank you so much, Andrew. Koblack says, "You're awesome, bro. Meditation, girl. Plus, you've gotten so much for." Oh, thanks. Thank you, Noy, for the donation. Andrew Glasgow says, "You read Eckhart Tolle's A New Earth? I think you would enjoy it." I have not read that. I always tell myself I'm gonna I want to read more, but I usually honestly just end up yeah, I don't know. I can spend so much time in my own head. Um, Ellen says, "I'm so happy and thank you for opening my heart and pure love for life." I am so happy that you found us here, Ellen, and you are so welcome here. Ellen says, "I stopped smoking, drinking, weed, gummies, and no meat all at the same time. Cold turkey, you feel so much better." Wow, that's impressive. I've been doing all that same. I stopped all that stuff too, but doing it at the same time is super hard. Code Black says, "Are you a vegetarian?" No, I'm not a vegetarian. I have been vegetarian. I've spent years as a vegetarian, but I've come to learn that. Well, I've still yet to find a diet that is vegetarian, which does not eventually take some type of toll on my physical health. I haven't given up yet. I think that possibly my next round of that, I will try to incorporate some sprouted stuff, to see if that helps. But I don't know. Usually after about a year or two of the vegetarian thing, I start getting like problems with like my joints and stuff, like where I start getting like a lot of joint pain. But it seems like it rectifies itself pretty rapidly when I start consuming higher quality protein again. So I don't know. It's honestly a huge struggle. I rarely ever have a meal that I enjoy because I just have like so much guilt about eating. And that's like honestly been one of my biggest like struggles spiritually. Even though I feel that I've been given, insight that has helped me deal with that. Like, for example, when the whole earth thing that I mentioned many times about merging into the earth and all that, um, you know, a big part of that was like, the animals are part of the earth. You know what I'm saying? It's like the animals are all avatars of the goddess, which is the earth. You know what I'm saying? And, you know, in the experience of experiencing the consciousness of the earth itself, I did realize that there is no guilt about the cycle of life and eating and stuff, um, within that specific consciousness. You know what I'm saying? Like, this is the, you know, the that whole guilt cycle is a very human thing. You know, like humans themselves, we are all a single entity. You know what I'm saying? We are all avatars of a single entity, in the same way that the animals and plants and that are all part of a single entity, but they are different entities. And so it's a very human, or it's our personal struggle with the eating thing. And I did learn to, I understand that completely. And for that reason, I take no joy in my meals. But I choose the food that I feel that I can feel nourishes me the best, I guess, rather than taking like an emotional standpoint on it. So I don't know. It's a constant struggle. I honestly change my mind about it all the time. I have constant changes of heart. It's an ongoing. There's an ongoing battle there, but yeah, that's the thing. What's my thoughts on circumcision? You know, I've been circumcised my whole life. It was something that became somewhat of a trademark for me in my career. So, you know, at some point, I feel that it actually, you know, was something that people, you know, in the beginning, it's something that people talked smack about, and then eventually they kind of coveted it a little bit. But personally, like, I like natural things. Um, you know, I would prefer to be natural myself. As I understand, sometimes there's some sensation loss or whatever. I don't know if I suffered any of that, because like I said, it's been my whole life. I feel like I have an ample amount of sensation there, but if I could have more, I would like to have more. You know what I'm saying? The sleep Scorpio, greetings. Oh, we got another thing from Magic. Says hunters and gatherers react differently to food. We're all different. Females tend to go plant-based throughout the spiritual journey more than protectors. That makes sense. That makes sense. You know, there's a lot of people that think that blood type and stuff has a lot to do with it as well. And you know, and again, yeah, there's a lot of stuff that, you know, ties back to like our more primal nature. Some people, you know, even the sleep cycle, some people are just night owls because, you know, someone had to stay up at night and watch some stuff. Some people, you know, like she said, like, if you were more on the gatherer side, you're probably more built like that. You know what I mean? Like, it's you know, there's at some point also too, you know, when you, like I said, with that whole earth experience thing, like, I came to, you know, understand also how conscious plants, for example, are. And of course there's things like fruit, which are, you know, offered freely, and that's a beautiful thing because it's a guilt-free meal, you know, especially if you try to see the seed get to a good location where it can have a chance to grow. You know, that's a guilt-free meal, and it's beautiful. But it's just um, I haven't been able to make a long-term diet for myself off of that works. So the way I eat now currently is I try to alternate between the two. And if I'm eating protein, I eat zero sugar. And if I'm eating any kind of carbohydrates, I eat zero protein. And I alternate with my fasting. And so, and I alternate with the meals. So it's like, there's two big aspects to the whole thing of like ketosis, which happens from a lack of carbohydrates. And there's autophagy, which happens from a lack of protein. And so during autophagy, your body's harvesting amino acids and breaking down, damaged cells and stuff. During ketosis, your body's obliterating fat cells to make ketone bodies. And so being in that state increases your, I think it's called like brown fat to white fat, or I don't know. There's, I forgot what it's called, but there's a preferable type of fat which increases in that situation. And, you also detox faster because your fat accumulates a lot of toxins. And so by burning that fat totally, you're also releasing those toxins again. Anyway, so long story short is breaking the fast in this way of eating that I've come up with. When you break with carbohydrates and fat, you don't stop the autophagy. You know what I'm saying? And the same with if you just eat protein and fats, you don't stop the ketosis. So you can actually add, a day or two onto either end of that cycle and continue the benefits for that. So that's basically my tactic there. Do I know about foreskin restoration? Would you like? No, I don't. It's not the same as never having it removed. It's not. Having a restoration is just like an aesthetic thing. It's not gonna regenerate the nerves if there was any nerve endings removed. I don't really care about the aesthetics of it. I just I care about natural or not, which is something that's not an option for me. So it's not something that I will use any thought process beyond answering this question to think about. Cannonball says, these past weeks I've been staying up until 4 a.m. every day. My mind is really overactive. Midnight is when I'm at my best. I really go to sleep before 2 a.m. But 4 a.m. You know what? I'll tell you what. Maybe it's related, maybe not. But my personal experience, like after that week of streaming, where we did the everyday thing, I mean, I personally like thought those were like really high end streams. Like my mind was super overactive as well. Like I actually felt like I needed some time just to like digest everything that I said from talking to you guys about all that stuff for that week straight. Like I realized that like the daily thing is nice, like a lot gets done, but it's like when we start getting into some of these deeper topics and stuff, I just start basically like I'm like basically like channeling some of the stuff I'm saying. Like I'm just trying to speak from my higher self, like sometimes afterwards I'm like I gotta like sit there and like digest it all myself, and like it feels like some type of a realization in some sense. I don't know. Maybe unrelated, but that was my experience. Ken was this pushing it even for me still. Magic says, wow, that's the how to look 10 years younger lifestyle. Well, if it's working, then I'll take it. Frank says, is talking to Cannonball, says I had some pretty difficult things going on. Cannonball retracted a message. Okay, looks like I made it to the bottom of the chat. Well, it's only been an hour. Zana says downtime is important. You may need time to process. Scorpio says, you once said you eat one type of food at a time. What do you think about a balanced diet meal, a variety of foods in one meal? I just think that it's, you know, the more complex the meal, the more complex the breakdown of the meal is going to be. And so I just, like, you know, I fast a lot. I fast regularly, like pretty much alternating days. And you know, I have trouble, like, during the days when I am eating, I want to eat as many calories as possible because I don't want to become malnourished. You know what I'm saying? Like, I want as much space between meals as possible, but I don't want to, like, shrivel up and disappear. So I focus on, like, really calorie dense stuff. Like, I mean, I'm trying to eat a ton of fat. I'm trying to eat, you know, like, when I eat a lot of things like dates and stuff that have a ton of sugar. Like, you know, like, I don't eat anything that's airy and, like, fluffy, rarely. You know, like, if I'm gonna eat, like, vegetables and stuff like that and plants, and, like, I prefer it in, like, smoothie form, you know, so that I can, or as a juice, so that I can get, like, a lot of it into, like, a small form, so I can eat a lot on when I am eating, you know. I yeah, so it's just kind of like thing. I mean, I think it's good to, you know, you definitely, you know, when it comes to, like, plants and plant food and stuff, like, I think it is good to get, like, a good variety, but, like, I try to do it in separate meals. You know, because a lot of times, you know, there's a lot of nutrients um that you need that compete for the same transport cells. So, you know, like the L transport or whatever is, like, one of the really common ones that gets overworked. You know, like, the if you break it into meals, then, you know, you let you know, into separate meals, the different things that you're eating, that have different nutrients, rather than your body having to, like, prioritize one over the other. uh you know, you just give it time for it to go drop off its load, you know what I'm saying? Like, let those transport cells get freed up, and then they can, you know, more properly transport more stuff with your next meal. But, you know what I'm saying, when you're mixing, like, so much different stuff, it's like, you know, it leaves food behind, nutrients behind. So that's just my own personal thing. Again, I'm not a nutritionist, I'm not a doctor, I'm not anything else. I'm just a guy that's paying attention to his own body. And you know, that's the other thing, is, like, if I eat, let's say, like, for example, like, I also don't wear deodorant or whatever, you know what I'm saying? So, like, you know, one of the reasons why I like to eat one thing at a time, or, for example, one of the reasons, aside from the toxins and stuff in the actual deodorant, is, like, I want to be able to notice subtle changes, and I want to know what food caused that. So if I eat, like, 10 different ingredients in a meal, and I suddenly got some BO the next day, that's weird. I don't know what caused that. I'm gonna go consult my 10 ingredients list and be like, I wonder which thing made me think here. Versus if I just ate, like, one or two different things yesterday, and, oh, maybe only one of those two or three, maybe even three different things. Well, two of those things I know how I react to, and one thing was new, and then I have a reaction like BO or something the next day. I know that that's what caused that. It didn't agree with me. You know what I'm saying? or also other aspects like my energy levels, my acuteness of vision, how my skin looks, like different aspects of where I can, how much water I'm holding. Like if I'm meal fast, meal fast, meal fast, and that meal only had a limited amount of ingredients, then the way that I feel during that fast afterwards, I can directly attribute to that. I know what's causing it, and so it just allows me to get to know my body more. I don't like mystery when it comes to my body. You know what I'm saying? Like, um, you know, uh, I'm just trying to like know how everything affects me, and it's also comes down to like when you really start thinking about and getting into like where I'm interested, like where my interest lies at this point. Like it's like I've gotten really lucky and gotten to have some like cool experiences like spiritually. Now I'm like trying to learn how to drive the spaceship now that I know that I'm driving a spaceship. And it's internal alchemy. This is the interesting thing, like as far as I'm concerned, is like I'm trying to be an internal alchemist. I'm trying to turn lead into gold, right? Well, there's a lot of different aspects to that. You know what I'm saying? And when you're talking about being an internal alchemist, like one of the things you're talking about doing is making DMT. You know what I mean? And other probably goodies that your body can make, serotonin and dopamine and phenylephrine or whatever, I don't know, whatever different neurotransmitters or whatever, probably some that we don't even know about or they at least don't tell us about, so it's what kind of amino acids are like, you got your amino acid pool, like what kind of amino acids are present, so what kind of amino acids are in abundance, you know what I'm saying, like, and then okay, I ate this time, I stocked my amino acid pool with these amino acids, and then now I'm going to eat this as a reactive agent, on my next meal, right? How did that affect me? Not just what I ate that day, but what I ate in this order on these different days with this different, you know what I'm saying? It's internal alchemy. There's no more advanced laboratory in this entire world than your body. Like you're a fucking laboratory. You're fucking banging out all kinds of chemicals, shit that man cannot make. You know what I'm saying? Like you can take all the fucking scientists, physicists, whatever, Harvard, Stanford, all the top schools in the world, biggest, most expensive labs, all that shit, and they cannot create the chemicals that your body can create. They can maybe do some of them, but they can't do everything. There's shit that your body can do no one can fucking do. It's only you. You do it inside of yourself. You're a human laboratory. You know what I'm saying? Like that whole stuff that you see in the movies and stuff with all the fucking glass going everywhere, just crazy, like whatever, they're distilling chemicals. You are that times 1,000. You're fucking all the beakers and shit. Right there. You got all the chemicals. You know what I'm saying? It's just about, do you know how to mix them up and do different stuff with them? And then that brings us all the way back to like sexual energy transmutation. It brings us back to fasting. Like there's things that your body does in certain situations that it doesn't do in other situations. You know what I'm saying? Like your digestive tract and all that, these are huge, big organs. You know what I'm saying? Like your liver is the biggest fucking organ in your whole body. It's like super big and heavy and stuff. It does all kinds of crazy shit. You know what I mean? Like these things have a priority list. You know what I'm saying? And one of those big priorities is like digesting your food. Well, there's other stuff that it can be doing. But if it's busy digesting food all the time, it's not going to do that. It's going to just be busy digesting food because it thinks that there's a reason why you're overeating. Because you are overeating. Everybody's fucking overeating. I mean literally everybody. Like, you know, there's maybe a few exceptions of like some yogis and monks and stuff, you know, but almost everybody's overeating. You can live for 30 days, no problem without food. Well, if you can live for 30 days, no problem without food, what makes you think you're supposed to eat every day? You know what I'm saying? So you need to give your body time off. You need to actually be empty. Like God is not gonna touch you if it's not just you. If it's you and a bunch of shit inside of you, it's gonna be hands off for a minute. You're dirty. You know what I'm saying? Go clean the temple. When you're puro, come back and then, you know what I'm saying, talk to somebody. You know what I mean? Like, give yourself some time off. You know, it's now that's just my personal opinion. This is just, and when I am talking that and I'm like, whatever, that's like honestly me talking from my ego in the way that my ego like talks to me. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, so it's just me, that's me like talking to myself, really. So again, I'm not trying to use any kind of tone or sound condescending when I'm talking. It's just, you know. But yeah, that's just that's kind of like my school of thought with all of that. You know, but that goes for other things. That goes for your liver. That also goes for, like, you know, if you're a woman, learning your, you know, exactly when you're like ovulating, for example. Well, that's not necessarily the only important part of it, but that's probably like not the best time for you to be doing energy work, right? Like, you'd be better off doing it when you're like not losing energy, right? Since you don't have the ability to completely, totally stop that process, right? Well, for men, that's the same as you ejaculating. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's like you're losing that energy that you're building up. You know what I'm saying? Like, it takes your body literally days to create like a fully formed sperm. You know what I'm saying? You know, not to mention whatever other fluids that it needs to create and whatever else that it does to see that on its way out. So, you know what I'm saying, you at least need to take enough time for your body to finish that process so that it's not pouring all these energy into creating something that is going to be lost soon. You know what I'm saying? Like, once it's done creating, that energy gets redirected elsewhere. You know what I'm saying? That internal chemistry can be used for something else. You know what I'm saying? But it's even more than that. Is like, everything in your body, one thing creates another thing, creates another thing, creates another thing. It's not like it just creates a bunch of shit. Everything is a cycle in your body. You know what I'm saying? One good example is testosterone and estrogen, which comes from your sex organs. You know what I'm saying? Your body doesn't just make estrogen, it converts testosterone to estrogen. It's a chain of creation. You know what I'm saying? Like, it makes one thing, which makes another thing, which makes another thing, which makes another thing, makes another thing. The same way that it detoxifies shit from your body. It adds on this, breaks this down, like breaks this out, like this fucking carboxyl, blah, 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 fucking, it's a big fucking cycle. You know what I'm saying? And so sometimes you need certain ingredients for certain things. You know what I'm saying? Like, some of the stuff that's going into your sexual energy is the ingredients that you need to make other stuff that you need. You know what I mean? And this comes back to like the whole sacred secretions and the Christos oil or the Amrita, like all these different concepts of these sacred, this is internal alchemy. It's learning how your body works in certain ways, on certain days, and certain cycles, with certain ingredients, eating certain foods to produce certain outcomes of certain chemicals that enable your body to perform certain functions, which are considered by most people supernatural. Do you know what I'm saying? But it's not supernatural. It's just the way that you're built. It's just that you know, in the same way that you can't get a woman pregnant when you haven't gone through puberty yet, you can't connect to the superconscious if you've not gone through your kundalini, your spiritual awakening. It's just a stage of human development. And that stage of human development requires your body to produce certain chemicals and things to activate certain functions so that you can operate on that level. You know what I'm saying? Like, if you're 9 years old, you're not going to you can't get anyone pregnant because you don't have the mechanics to do it. You're not producing anything because you haven't gone through the change. Well, the change requires you to start producing testosterone, or in a woman's case, abundance of progesterone, estrogen, and all of a sudden now your ovaries come alive and start producing eggs. You know what I'm saying? Like, these things, it's something has to happen for something else to happen. Well, this is what the spiritual awakening is. But we're all like, it's like in the same way that they can feed a kid puberty blockers and they'll never go through puberty and they'll never become fertile. You know what I'm saying? And they'll never reproduce. The whole world is feeding you fear and greed and lust and telling you to have 3 meals a day every day, and telling you and watching, you know, content that we all know about, you know what I'm saying, and losing our vital essences, you know what I'm saying, and when you're in this state of fear and stuff, your body's not going to shed your ego. You're not going to go through a process where your ego dies, because your ego is what's keeping you alive. Your ego's a proponent of that fear, you know. And not only that, but our diets, all this weird shit, alcohol and caffeine. This is a big one. You know what I'm saying? It's stopping people from going through the last phase of development. You know what I'm saying? Which is something that I feel that everybody should go through, but they just don't, because the world is full of all it's a phase of development that doesn't happen if you're not at peace, you know. It like requires thing, and it just requires purity. If there's toxins and stuff in your body, or even just mental trauma and stuff, it stops this process from happening. And it's just, this process is internal alchemy. It's learning to use yourself. It's letting the body function properly. And you know, there's yeah, that's just, I'm going back to the chat. So I'm starting to repeat myself. Anyways, Kenneball says, I spent a week at a hotel and sleep was perfect. Just came back home at 4 a.m. Let's see. Black says, it's almost impossible for me to sleep. I wish life was just one of those people who just get tired in their eyes. Well, let me ask you guys, do either one of you consume sugar and or caffeine on a regular basis? Because I've noticed that since I quit drinking caffeine, even though I never had that much trouble sleeping, but like my sleep is like so much improved. It's like 100 times improved. Like when I wake up in the morning, since I've quitting caffeine, like I feel that I'm like in a euphoric cocoon of bliss when I wake up. And it's like, and if I like meditate right when I wake up, I can literally like carry it with me all day, and I'll just be walking around like I'm in a cloud, like wearing a warm cloak of happiness. I don't know. That's been my experience since quitting caffeine. So I'm just saying. Yeah, I'm the same way. I wake up. Cannibal says, I used to be able to sleep longer if I stayed up late. Now I wake up at 8 a.m. after a few hours of unsatisfactory sleep. Is unpleasant. I do the same thing. I wake up in the morning when the sun comes up, like right before the sun comes up, no matter how little sleep that I got. Like, even if I went to sleep super early, I'll sleep super long and wake up at that time. But if I go to sleep super late, I'll still wake up at that time and have no sleep. Magic says, exactly the reason I stopped getting my nails done is I want to be able to read the body on its OG form. Yes, exactly. The nails speak to you, and always, like, you know, if that's you can see your liver health with your own eyes right there. Don't want to cover that up. You need to be able to see that. Plus, you don't want to like misdiagnose yourself. You know, it's like for example, here's like a common thing that happens that I've witnessed a lot is like the acne cycle. I noticed like a lot of women fall into the cycle of covering up acne and stuff with makeup, but the makeup is what's causing the acne. And so it just is like this cycle where it's like constantly getting worse. Whereas if they just stopped covering it up, it would probably heal, you know? That's like something I've seen a lot. I don't know if that's related to the nails thing, but I think it kind of is, you know what I'm saying? Because also too, it's like, you know, you ask yourself why you're breaking out, don't just try to cover it up. You know what I'm saying? I'm not saying you, but I'm just saying like people in general, you know? And it says that's absolutely true. Your nails give lots of information about your health and conditions like your heart. And Zana says, this is ideal, so hard to do when there's so much food variety around. When I'm ever alone, I do the same thing, eat one item and try to listen to my body. Exactly, and it's good to eat a different item on another day because, again, you know, we need, you know, when it comes to meat, like there's almost everything is there. It's, you know what I'm saying? If it's grass-fed and all that, like, you know what I'm saying? Like most of your nutrition's there. But when it comes to plants and stuff and, you know what I'm saying? Like, plants are picky about what they bring in from the soil and stuff, and more so is that some of them actually aren't picky, but they just, it's, the thing is, a lot of our soil is depleted, so plants tend to bring in what they have available. You know what I'm saying? Like a lot of times, like it's like you might eat this head of chard and this head of chard, they're going to have completely different nutrition content based upon where they were grown, you know. Or some plants are so sensitive to it, like for example coffee. You know, I was in Peru, I went on this coffee tasting thing, and they told me, you know, like, oh, we're tasting all these coffees, it's all grown in the same valley, but it tastes different depending on which side of the hill that it's on. Like it's literally like that sensitive, you know. You know, Mary says lead, heavy metals give us all the CMOS gel properties to enhance the internal alchemy. Yes, that's just, yes, CMOS is good. You can get a lot of them. OMENS not Sam was trying to make out with me. You see my mouth open. He was like, "Oh yeah, I'm going in." Let's see. Nails take you know, I also found like my nails were at one point not that great, but they've gotten like super healthy since then. Yeah, I guess it would take a while because you would have to like you'd have to have time for them to regrow, right? Coworker, let's go. Good to have, you're blessed to have some spiritual and intellectual coworkers. It's not always like that. Sometimes it's not great at work in that regard. Cannonball says to Anna, I think I'm approaching crossroads in my life, and that's why I've had promised sleep. This has happened before. It's a special kind of restlessness. So it's related to a change of way. Oh yeah, I know that. That can be like that too, as well. Been having weird dreams lately as well. The cloak of happiness. Okay, I think I made it. I think that I had a decent little speech there. You guys, can I get a review on this stream? Do you think that was decent, or did I sound preachy? I felt like I was preachy and like lectury today. I don't know. I'm gonna work on it, you guys. But before I go, last minute questions, reviews. Don't forget, I guess the no preachy vibes. Okay, that's good. The subscribe 5-minute timer for talking. I mean, I guess it seemed like the traffic was a little low, but I do feel that there was like a minimum of trolling, if maybe not even any, unless I missed it. I feel like the 5 minute, like the trolls can't wait even 5 minutes to troll. So it worked really good. Koblack says, I read a while ago before they had artificial night lights, people would sleep in 5-hour cycles and wake up and read and take a walk. Yeah, there was no trolls in the stream. Yeah, it was good. I only, and this was actually an open chat. I just put a 5-minute delay so that people had to subscribe and wait 5 minutes to talk. So there was no trolls. It was pretty cool. I'll see how short. Maybe I'll lower that down to 2 minutes or something and see if 2 minutes is enough. Yeah, I like the note, you know. Okay, I was pretty good. No preaching vibe. I know. I just felt like I started like, you know, I kind of went off on some tangents there, but I was a little bit triggered, not in a bad way, actually in a good way, by Noy's question about the ups and downs, because I do feel that so much. Like the ups and downs are intense, but I'll also tell you, like, truth be told, like the ups and downs very, very, very much, you know, it's not completely random. Like it's like it has a lot to do with my practices. Like if I'm not drinking coffee and I'm not, you know, and I'm meditating regularly and I'm not, you know, doom scrolling on social media, and stuff like that, like I'm way, way, way up. Sometimes I'm so far up that I'm kind of like, damn, I need a coffee to bring me back to earth, because I'm like literally like, I don't know how to explain. Like sometimes, you guys, I'm literally like seething. You know what I'm saying? Like it's getting to that point. Like it's getting to the point. Like sometimes, like for the exact, like a big part of this last week, I wasn't streaming partially. It wasn't that I didn't want to talk to anybody. It's just that I couldn't fucking talk because I felt so good. You know what I mean? Like it's like literally like I have this like raging feeling inside of me. This like pleasure, just like I don't know, just like going down the center of my body. It's like my vagus nerve is like just glowing, you know. And I think that that's something that I'll talk about soon with the whole, I want to do a Kundalini special. But yeah, it's like it's totally possible, you guys, to just be chemically dialed in inside your body to where that you are so fucking high all the time off of nothing that it's like epic. You know what I'm saying? And it's also, this is something I actually talked about recently, and I'll leave off on this note, is that the reason why in life we have problems with addiction so much, addiction of things like as simple as food, as natural as sex, or as unnatural as, you know, people are out there fucking stuck on fentanyl and shit. You know what I'm saying? Like, and everything in between, from cannabis to alcohol to MDMA and whatever else you can think of, right? That people get addicted to. And, you know, even pharmaceuticals, Adderall, whatever, you know, people get addicted to things because they don't realize that they are mimicking something that is completely natural, and that mimicry is a total shot. You know what I'm saying? That the highs that seem so intense and so good that you get addicted to them from all these things, caffeine and weed and alcohol and all this different stuff, that they are mimicking something completely natural but they're doing a poor job of it, because the real deal version is so much fucking stronger. The chemicals that can be produced inside your body are you specific. You know what I'm saying? Like, they function specifically for your receptors, specifically for your body, and there's absolutely no shortage of it. Think about what your body can produce in a fast time. You know, you see some food, you get hungry, you start salivating to the point that you can literally drool. You know what I'm saying? You know, you see something that turns you on, you can have this huge reaction within your body where all kinds of moisture and different things and stuff is produced. Tons of it. Right? Many different things like this. You know what I'm saying? Your stomach growls and you feel the acid going through your stomach. Like, your body can produce tremendous amounts of complex chemicals very rapidly. Okay? And some of these chemicals, literally, it's like most of these drugs are just triggering receptors of things, triggering releases of things that are actually natural in your body. But you can do that all without the drug. You can do that all completely naturally. And the thing is that not only can you do it, but you need to not have any, you need to be clean and pure in order to do it, because when something else is there, your body won't do it. So all these people are out here addicted. All these people are out here striving for their chosen chemicals that make them feel their certain way, or just make them not feel a certain way. And they're literally cheating themselves of the cleanest, most amazing, best high that there is. Not only that, well, when you're doing these external drugs and chemicals and shit, and this, you know, trying to cheat your way there to that feeling, we all notice that they all have negative effects. It's a zero-sum game. For every good feeling that you get out of something, there's a negative feeling waiting to fucking happen on the other side. But that's only with this artificial shit. If you fucking tap into your own body's chemicals, your own body's chemistry, your own body's supply that's specifically for you, not only is there no hangover and no ill effects afterwards, but it fucking heals you. It reverses your age. What's the downside of that? Of course everyone's fucking addicted to everything, because they're not getting to do the best part of being human. The best fucking part of being you, the reason why you're in this fucking avatar, the reason why you decided to take a break from being a super conscious being that could do anything it wants at any time, is so that you can feel all these sensations inside of this body, so that you could be this avatar, so that you can experience the limited. It's important. That's why we got to be absolutely fucking pure. If we're absolutely fucking pure, we can start producing massive quantities of chemicals that make us feel amazing all the time. And that's even right, takes us right back to where we started at the very beginning of this with Code Black, when he said that he doesn't have a comfortable place to meditate. But if we bring this to full circle, if we completely and totally purify ourselves, if we actually do meditate, if we actually do get to know ourselves within inside of our bodies, we don't even need to meditate at some point anymore, because we're in a permanent state of meditation, because we will have these chemicals flowing through our body so fucking much, so strongly, that we will be in fucking bliss all the fucking time. And everything that you do will be a fucking meditation. Everything that you do will be a meditation, because you will wake up all these fucking brain cells inside your head that are currently fucking dormant, because you will wake up all these energy channels and nadis inside of your body that are currently fucking dormant, and you will feel them in absolute acuity. Every fucking thing that you do will be a fucking orgasm. That's what's possible. Okay? Your whole life, every action that you be can be an orgasmic thing. Every nerve in your body can fucking vibrate at the frequency of God, of unconditional love, of absolute authenticity. But you have to be pure. Not just chemically, but mentally, emotionally, and physically. Like, you have to purge all of your bodies out. And then there's something beautiful waiting. All right? I love you guys. Let me see. There was some chat. Let me double check real quick. Guys, would you like to just pray together for a minute in silence? You're a great gang. I think that's a good idea. We actually will take time to do that before I log off. Magic says addiction is usually a distraction that is supposed to be an understanding lesson, but becomes an immersion distortion. Super tricky to quit. Matrix, not cutesy or demur. Yeah, that's true. It's a good way to put that. Natural pleasures of life, fresh food, meditation, cold water, good, that, and sleep. True. Cold water thing is also a big thing, you guys. Cold water, when it comes, I want to also, I'm not a medical professional, but I just want to cite back to what we were saying. Do your cold plunges with fasting. Knock your socks off. All right. Magic says, addiction sent me from 25 looking 35 straight to 34 looking 27. We become one with the medicines. That's true. That is, it can be like that. But it's also, everything's reversible. You know what I'm saying? Like, it comes back to, like, these internal chemistry, it can heal literally anything inside you. There's nothing that's incurable. I mean, there's a guy, I'm waiting to see what happens. There's a guy I'm following on Instagram that's meditating every day until he grows his arm back. All right? I forgot his name. I don't know the channel. I'm sure you guys can find him. Much love to that guy. I love what he's doing. I'm on the edge of my seat waiting for this man's arm to grow back. But this is what I believe is within the realm of possibility. Om chants possible now? Yeah, the creature is sleeping. So let's do some ohms. I'm gonna do three ohms. We'll sit in silence for a second, and then I'm gonna log out. So you guys, thank you again, Noi, for last minute donations. Virtual hats is being passed around if anyone else wants to kick in. And let's do this. Much love, everybody. I will hopefully see you tomorrow. I think I might do another one tomorrow. If not, then it'll be the day after, but I think tomorrow's looking good. I might even actually try one tonight at, I don't know, 7 p.m. So let's see what happens. All right, you guys? Follow me on the Telegram chat. Thank you, everyone, for the donations. And thank you all for the input and the great questions. And I will look forward to our next meeting. All right. Namaste.